Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experience, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Joe Obamani, the general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. Welcome back. Today in today's studio, we have Meg Pearson from Meg Pearson Photo. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming.
You. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about how you got started shooting weddings.
Well, I guess I'll take it back from the beginning.
Sure.
Because I feel like that's just like a super important part of my journey and whatnot. So I guess it really started when I was a kid. My dad was very big on like videotaping every moment, small and big. And it really took an effect on me as like a teenager. 'Cause, like, we used to like look through our films and whatnot and photos, and what happened that like was huge for me was I lost my granny when I was 6. So I kind of experienced a loss at a young age, and like being able to look back at pictures and like being so thankful that my dad took like photos and videos of that really is like the key point of why I love what I do and how it all kind of started. I actually have my dad's first film camera tattooed on me.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got started. My dad was like a huge influence on that. And then actually I kind of like picked up his thing of taking pictures of like everything. So when I was like a teen, I asked for like a little point and shoot camera for Christmas. I got it. I brought it to every like concert I went to, sleepover, everything. Like I was annoying with it. So yeah, you know, back in the MySpace day, you had to have the camera.
Yes, captured everything.
Yeah. Yes, dating myself a little bit, but that was kind of like how that started. And then I had a camera. It was like a Nikon or something I bought with my first job, and I never learned that you had settings on it or you could even do anything. I was an imposter for a minute, but I just continued to take pictures with that. And then one day randomly in, 2018, August of 2018, I was like, on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, I have this camera. I want to take pictures of people, like my loved ones, who wants to like model for me. And it was never like to start a business. It was simply just to like connect with like my friends and family, and it just blew up. Wow. So yeah, I started in 2018.
Yeah.
Created a Facebook page and all that jazz, and I never pictured it being like this, to be honest with you. It still blows my mind that this will be my 4th year full-time, 7th year in business, and like it shocks me every day.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so cool.
And so now, so your photography, what specifically do you guys, so I assume you do weddings, I know that.
Yes.
Do you also do like portrait work? Do you do corporate work? Do you what's the scope of your services that you kind of provide?
When I first started out, I was just kind of taking anything and everything. I mean, I would do anything from like 30th birthday shoots to like smash cakes to newborns to I don't even know. I had like a group of like people for their birthday, for their 30th. They were all turning 30. Basically anything and everything, headshots. And as I started like getting into it, I was like, okay, it's kind of cool to dip your feet into everything. And then I started like really loving weddings. I wanted to shoot weddings for like 2 years while I started. And then I like reached out on Facebook and said, hey, is anybody getting married? Can I shoot your wedding? We can like negotiate on whatever, but like I really want to get into weddings. This is the only way, pretty much. And a high school friend of mine reached out and she was like, hey, we'd love to have you. I think I ended up shooting for like 12 hours that day. Wow. I have not shot for 12 hours since.
One and done, right?
Yeah, but honestly, without them like taking a chance, I would have never been able to like start like this. And it's really cool that like somebody took a chance on me.
Yeah,
so
yeah, good way to learn, get your feet wet, and learn what you like, what you don't like, and
so I do a lot of weddings primarily. This year it's like crazy. It's a lot of weddings. I started getting into elopements and traveling for that. Do a lot of like couples, maternity, family here and there. Usually that's like clients that I've already shot before and
Sure.
they're like families growing and whatnot. But yeah, I love like weddings, elopements, couples. I really love maternity too. So
Awesome.
usually it's those wedding couples returning
Yes.
and they're, you know, it was like
I love
oh,
that you're the
like-
photographer for life as they go through different stages
yeah.
of life, and
Yeah, I've
you're
had quite a
capturing.
few people that it's just I've seen them for years and years just keep growing and
That's someday maybe you'll capture their kids' weddings. You know?
oh that would
Isn't
be
that crazy
the
to
dream.
think about?
That'd be so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, are there places around here? Like, what are some of your favorite places to shoot? If you, I mean, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
one, but some of your favorite spots that you like to shoot.
Yeah. I would say I really love like Sunset Hill.
Okay.
Like when they have like the tall grass and stuff, so stereotypical, but I love it. It's just very fall, like during the fall. That's
Yes.
just beautiful with the leaves. Hampshire Gardens. I
Okay.
love that. I'm sure all photographers go there and love it too. Ogden Gardens. I don't know, I just love nature.
Sure.
Like it's really cool that we have so many like pretty places around here to just go. Downtown Valpo is cool too. Just for like a different little vibe there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the things that you like about shooting weddings, shooting?
I just posted on my story yesterday about how, like, I went home from a wedding a couple weeks ago and I literally pulled in my driveway and started crying, like getting very emotional because it's so crazy to me that I get to like just hang out with people and like have deep connections and have that continuing relationship over and over again. And that's definitely like my favorite part is just like the connection and like how beautiful it is seeing people just live their lives and being able to take pictures of it.
Yeah. It's so cool that like we get to be a part of this special day.
Yeah.
Somebody's life, kind of a fly on the wall sometimes, but
Yeah.
also an integral part of capturing those memories of as DJ of like helping to create those memories or create
Yeah.
opportunities for those.
Yeah.
And it's really neat. It's it's very special.
It is.
And all the people I know that love doing this, that's the thing that they love most about it. It's like, oh, this is so cool. I get to do this.
Yeah, I think for me too, like I grew up very like introverted and quiet, and I think this has kind of just got me out of my box, and it's always so nice to just be able to like hang out with people. I think like when COVID happened, I kind of just like pulled away from people too, and I mean business wise, it was kind of a little rough to be shooting and whatnot. So once everything kind of cleared up and things started kicking back up again, it was like I couldn't have enough of it. So now I just kind of say I'm like an extroverted introvert.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I found that introverts make for really great DJs. And
Really?
it's not what you'd expect, but I think
Okay.
it's because extroverts are so focused on the people and the energy
Yeah.
that sometimes they miss the details. And the introverts are really good on the details.
Yeah.
And they struggle more with the people side. But
Yeah.
just in my experience, I've seen a lot of introverted people come through my company and have this experience where, yeah, I'm working with people every weekend and I actually really like it. It is draining.
Yeah. You got to recover a couple days, you know?
Yeah, and I've heard that's the best thing is that like what gives you energy, that's what makes you an introvert or an extrovert. Or that now they're using the term ambivert, where it's like, yeah, kind of both, you know?
Yeah.
So I started out as very extroverted, but I've become more introverted as I've gone along. And so now I do value my alone time.
Yeah, right.
time where there's no noise to recharge.
You got to drive home with no music on.
Yes.
Every wedding.
Oh, for sure. What are some of the things that make it challenging? What are some of this feels like work today, or this part of it?
Honestly, I feel like sometimes just getting in your head, and like one thing I've kind of learned this year, even though I've only had like a couple weddings, is like really preparing for it and not scheduling like stuff beforehand and not scheduling like anything the day after. I feel like if I have that day before like the wedding to not like schedule anything and just really like get in the mood for it, I've had a lot better results like the day of, like a lot less anxiety, a lot less like in my head about things, and I feel like I'm overall just like more calm and like be able to like be present. Whereas like if I have like a session on Friday, a wedding on Saturday, and then like say mini sessions on Sunday, like my brain is like, oh my God, I have too much to do. Like I can't focus on anything, so I'm gonna choose to focus on nothing.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. It's where there's so much on your plate that it's hard to be present in that moment. There's like, I got to worry about this. I got this. And there's honestly, at least how I feel like I'm burned out. Like there's too much to worry about where it's hard to focus.
Yeah.
So I love that. You've kind of found that about yourself where it's like, I need this to prep.
Yeah.
And I need this to kind of like recuperate after.
Yeah. Cause I mean, like I like to say 2023 and 2024 were like my absolute hustle years where I took everything. I mean, if you ask some of my friends, like last year, I was like shooting a wedding and then literally the next day traveling to like Las Vegas and like shooting something out there and then like coming home and then having another wedding. So like really trying not to do that as much as it was fun. It was just like too chaotic. And last year, if this says anything about the person I am, I had a bride already booked for September 21st. I love like the song September, and they chose that specifically for that date. And so they were already booked, and I had a couple that I've taken pictures of twice before, and they're from like Georgia, and they're like, hey, we're coming to Chicago and getting married that day. We already saw you're booked. Is there anybody you can like refer? So I was going to just refer my like best friend that I trust. And the original wedding was like, hey, we actually changed it to brunch. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I like talked to my other bride. Well, not my bride, but you know, and I was like, hey, I think I can shoot your wedding. So I shot 2 weddings in one day.
Wow.
I worked at Avalon at like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. until 1, drove to Chicago, parked, and then shot a boat wedding until 1 a.m.
What?
Yeah. That was like one of those things where I was like, why not, you know? So honestly, those 2 were like the best weddings ever. They were so much fun and just really cool. I don't know. It was cool. I was like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that the stars would align for this. So both of the couples are just so wonderful. So yeah, I was like, I can't say no. But trying not to do that as much this year.
Are there things where when you're sitting down with a couple in the initial kind of like discovery phase of selling and stuff, and are there things where you're like, yes, this, like kind of your ideal couple that you love to shoot?
Yes. For example, I remember sitting with one of my couples for like, I always do face-to-face as much as I can.
That's really good.
I feel like sometimes behind a screen or like just a regular phone call, I come off weird or like just not myself. Like I feel like I can be more like myself in person.
Yeah.
So I really strive to like get that in person. I feel like I book a lot more when I do it in person. So I sat down with this couple and they were like, we just want like bright colors, fun. We're designing like all of our invitations and like graphics and stuff. Like they were just so fun. They did like a choreographed dance and it wasn't like a slow dance. It was like a fun upbeat thing. And I was like, all of this. Yes, I will take it. I just shot their wedding this last month and it was just so beautiful. But normally like I don't have any like things that I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna take this.
Sure.
Like
sure.
As long as I'm like vibing with the people and like we're not, I always tell people to make sure to like look at my portfolio and I'll send them like full day galleries of like, here's what this venue looks like. Here's what this venue looks like. If I've shot at the venue that they're having theirs, I'll send them galleries. Because I feel like lately I've been seeing a lot of controversy of like, oh, my photographer sent me my gallery and it's nothing what their pictures looked like. And I think that's just like a big thing for me because I'm not like the stereotypical like light and airy that you would kind of think of for weddings. Both are beautiful. I shoot more moody. And like I think sometimes that's not exactly what people are looking for. So I always make sure to kind of show people this is, what your venue can look like.
Through my lens, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And my edits and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes, I mean, even when I was like a bride, I was like looking through like people's portfolios and being like, oh, this is what like my wedding photos can look like. And I think it's just really a good idea to look through people's work.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of leads me to my next question is
Yeah.
like advice you'd have for couples looking for wedding photographers.
Yeah.
It sounds like first and foremost, get a full gallery.
Yeah, I think for me, like my process is when I get an inquiry, I'm always trying to set up that in-person meeting. I get like sometimes schedules don't work out and whatnot, so we have to do like a video call, which I'm always open to doing, but I really strive to do that in-person meeting, normally for like coffee, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's just super chill. Like I feel like when people like set up meetings for wedding vendors and whatnot, they can kind of feel like a little tense or like feeling like, oh no, this person's gonna be like very salesman like approach, and that's like normally what I like try to stay away from. I am just like, hey, here I am. If you like it, cool. If you don't, let me give you recommendations for like what you're looking for, because I feel like that was kind of a process for me to kind of not take so seriously, because when I first started out, I was like really devastated when people like would turn me down or say, hey, we have somebody else, or even like ghosting. Now really, like if I have somebody like ghost me, it's cool.
There'll be another person. Yeah. They weren't my client. They're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Like the wedding process is overwhelming to begin with.
Yes.
I think a lot of people underestimate that.
Yeah.
Like imagine just going on Google. Like if you don't know where to start, going on Google and being like, okay, wedding DJs, and here they are. And then like you have to do that for each category. So it's just very overwhelming, and I get that. So I'll normally do like my in-person meeting, and normally lately it's been we don't even talk about the wedding. We're just like getting to know each other, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah. And really important.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be with them, long time. The day of.
That's like my number one thing that I keep in the back of my head is like really truly getting to know these people. Because I feel like if you don't know their story, or if you don't know about them, or even like when it comes to like engagement photos, because I include those, if I have people who don't take the engagement session, I'm like, I don't know what their like love language is. I don't know if they're touchy feely, like they want those kind of pictures, or if they don't want, So the one that I can think of the most is last year I shot a surprise proposal for a kid I went to school with, and I like just fell in love with them as a couple. They were just so sweet. Like I could see like the love between them two. And then I wasn't expecting this, but they reached out a couple months later and they're like, hey, wild idea. We want to elope, but we're also having a wedding. And I'm like, okay, go on. And so they eloped in Yosemite.
Wow.
2 weeks before they got married.
Dude.
Married. So yeah, I think for me, that was, even though it was just like last month, it really changed my perspective on getting to know couples and like being able to tell their story, because they picked me up from the airport and we drove to our Airbnbs, and like I got to go get their marriage certificate with them. I took pictures of it, just very candid, like not posed. We walked around like beautiful Mariposa County, and like they got coffee, and like just got to like really know them. And then when it came to like we even like spotted out like where they were gonna get married. Like I just got my film scans back from their elopement, and I was just like, yeah, this is really cool. Like just getting to see like the little moments that like led up to it. And then like, yeah, their elopement, we just walked around and like took pictures everywhere and anywhere, and it was so cool. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool that like you got to be there when they got engaged.
Yeah.
And then for their like elopement.
Yeah.
And then for the party too.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It was so cool.
And Yosemite, what was that like?
Oh my gosh. It was so pretty. It was kind of crazy. The place that they got married was like in a meadow, and the mountains were just like all around them.
Wow.
And it was just crazy. They chose to get married by a tree that was like one base, and then it's branched off into two. Because they're
Cool.
saying they're two souls combining into one.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
it was just so cute.
And I love they had that space, like they can just go back and visit that area.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you had any wild or crazy things happen while you're shooting or at weddings, or any crazy things that come to mind?
I'm trying to think.
Or just non-typical stuff that you would, unique.
So actually at their wedding, oh my gosh, they just like kept me on my toes. They were just so fun. They did so many things. It was really cool because right before dinner broke out, I think it was before dinner, they stood up in the front, and I think Justin, the groom, thought that like she was about to just give like a speech or whatever. And she's like, so I wrote you a song. And like, oh my God, it was insane. She wrote it with her dad and his partner, and they performed it.
Wow.
They actually recorded it too at a
Dude.
studio. So I think there's like a link for that somewhere. But I was just like, this is so cool. And you don't
Creative,
see this
original,
very
yeah.
often. And he was just sitting there, and like the pictures I got of him just like soaking it all in. There was not like a dry eye in the building.
Wow.
Everybody was crying. I was crying. It was just so beautiful. And yeah, I feel like every wedding I have, like there's something just like that sticks out in my mind about their wedding.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just-
unique to them as a couple, and
Yeah.
I love when couples just really incorporate their talents, their sense of art, all of those things into
Yeah.
making a special memory on this
I
day.
always tell couples, like, if they're like in like the stages of like planning, how important it is to like include your personality. Like, I feel it's very easy to kind of just go on Pinterest and be like,
Yes.
aesthetic wedding, and like that's cool. Like, go with whatever like is calling you, but personality I think is really, really important. My couple that I just had last month, they are really big into art, and she's a librarian. So their like little favor was he designed this whole like custom DIY bookmark station. And so it had 3 stamps, and like you could stamp it, and it was just like so interactive, and people were loving it. And I was like, oh, that's a little touch of like Kelly. And then he like did all the stationery for it, and it was so cute because they were like in a little getaway car. It was the 2 of them and their dog, and it was just so cute. And I'm like, that's so personable that like, I don't know. I feel like some people kind of forget, like in the stages of planning, like it's about you two.
Yeah.
It's not about anybody else. It's about you two. So, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I need a reminder,
Yeah. Put that stuff in there. Put that stuff in your wedding. Let that shine through.
Yeah.
Those flourishes. People, your family, friends will connect with that.
Yeah.
But years later, those memories will come back too. Those will come
Exactly.
through. And obviously the vendors connect. We love it because it's like, oh, this is something unique. I haven't seen this
Yeah.
before. I'm kind of like that with the music. When the couples really spend some time and they
Yeah.
really select a song that like really fits. It's not like just the copy paste. This is what the
Yeah.
internet did, or this is
Yeah.
what Edward and Bella did from the movies. Whatever.
Right.
They,
Oh my God.
they do something that's unique to them that
Yeah.
has a lot of feeling and memories to them, and that's, to me, that comes through.
Yeah.
So, do you have any advice for people getting into photography, into wedding photography? Things that you learned early on, like, hey, do this, don't do this, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think for me, there was a lot.
I'm still figuring, yeah.
There was a lot. I mean, back in the day, like when I first started, I had 1 camera body, 1 memory card slot. I think really what's important is if you're going to really dive into it is invest in your gear. Because for me, the biggest lesson I learned was this is people's memories. You can't mess around with it. You have to have a good backup system. You have to really care about their memories because things do happen. Technology does fail. And I learned that the hard way once. Luckily, I wasn't the main shooter, but I was second shooting for a photographer and my card corrupted. And I was like, oh no, what do I do? I've never had to deal with this, and went into panic mode. And I was like, this could like make or break me, even though I'm like a second shooter. Like, this is not good. So, luckily I had a friend who was like, hey, just stick it in your computer and you can like, with Max, I guess there's something you can like press and like it retrieved it all. And I was like, okay,
Good.
cool.
Good.
So then after that, I really was like, I just need to invest in like education and like really learning about my equipment and learning about, just everything. Because yeah, that's really scary. You never want that to happen. So definitely investing in gear and a like good backup system. And one thing that I've been kind of exploring the last few years is more of a like hands-off approach when needed. So like when you think of like, the bride getting her dress on and getting zipped up, like I have found that letting that moment just kind of happen instead of like being like, okay, get in front of this.
It's all staged. Yeah.
Yeah. I've really just been kind of embracing the let it happen kind of moment.
Just capturing it as it happens
Yeah.
rather than, okay. And I see what you're
like
saying.
I'm going to need you to do that 5 times or like,
Let's take it again.
yeah. Or if I see like the bride already has her earrings in, I'm like, I'm not going to make you take those out. Like, it's cool. Like, we'll get the pictures that are actually going to tell your story rather than like, let's just do this 500 times and waste some time. Yeah.
Anything that advice for other vendors that you work with that like,
Yeah.
this is when you work with photographers, this is what you should do. This is what you should avoid. Anything like that?
My biggest thing is don't be afraid to reach out for the gallery because I'm really bad. Sometimes I forget to just even send it out. And this one vendor, she's an angel. She was like, at the very beginning when we first shot together, she's like, hey, when you get the gallery, would you mind sharing it with me? And I normally have no problem with it. And then I completed it and it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And she was like, hey, just reaching out again. And like, she was very polite about it. And like, I have no issue with that. So don't be afraid to reach out for the gallery. Because I feel like obviously weddings are very collaborative.
Yeah.
I think sometimes even a wedding vendor team can make or break certain weddings. So I think really what's important is to not be afraid to reach out to different vendors and just get to know them and just, build a relationship with them. If you like that vendor that you're working with, leave them reviews or refer them because we're in it together,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people who've referred me or I've referred them and like it works out and it's really cool. And then like when I get to a wedding day and I see like my dream wedding vendor list, I'm like, we're going to have a great day,
Yes. I'm here for all my
Yeah.
frienders, all my people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best. And it honestly makes the work a lot easier. And then you understand everyone kind of has those core principles that they kind of work by and work
Yeah.
with. And it makes for a better day for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people tag us, I'll try to share it. I do my best with
Yeah.
that. Like, oh, that's nice. They tagged us. This is cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm using my platform to help promote their platform. And it's nice to, especially too, when we'll sit down with couples. Hey, who are you working with for photo or video or floral?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I've seen, like for me, I seen people started to do it, like where they tagged all the vendors, and I was like, oh, that's so smart because then, they can share it. They have it for their portfolio, and yeah, it just all kind of like is a circle. It works together.
Yeah, we got a really good region around here of
We
vendors,
do.
good people.
We do.
Will you, when you shoot a wedding, does it depend on packages or do you always have a second shooter with you?
So I always have a second shooter with me unless it's like a 4 hour or
Smaller
less
kind of,
like more intimate thing. Yeah, because for me, it's not necessarily just like photos. It's that like support system where like I'm so lucky. My best friend is a photographer and I found her through a photographer group and we just instantly clicked. It was like so wonderful. People when we work weddings are like, are you two sisters? So yeah, I always reach for her first because she is my tried and true. Like I feel like I could split myself in half and that's her.
Wow.
So yeah, really for me, it's more like, okay, I know she's going to get, like, I don't have to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
She's so wonderful. And there's a lot of photographers that I work with too that like just kind of, I feel like I overload them because I'm like anxious, like maybe I've never worked with them before, but I've had it where like I don't have to tell them much and they just know, and it's so wonderful like to have that on that wedding day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a second shooter is just really nice to have for moral support and for like the different angles and whatnot.
Heck yeah. Does she do a photography business too? Will you shoot for her kind of thing?
Yeah, we kind of just swap.
Kind of trade off. And
yeah, we're heading to like the Portland, Seattle area in July for a wedding. Cool. Yeah, so we're working together. That'll
Dude,
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's my travel buddy. We go all over. We spent, let me think, like 2.5 weeks in California last year.
Wow.
We shot 2 engagement sessions at Disneyland. Dude. And then in December, we had 2 Disneyland weddings. That was their weddings. Really, really cool. And then I had a wedding out in California that like same time period, which was just crazy. So like the week before Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving, we were in California for a long time.
That's cool. Shooting Disney, what was that like?
Very interesting. It was very beautiful, and I'll never forget the moment that like they sprinkled some Disney magic where one of my couples, they like took them out on the balcony and they could see like the Ferris wheel, and they let us take pictures for like 5 minutes. And it was so cool. It was so magical.
Just magical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they really capture that well. That's
Yeah.
just such a core element of their brand.
Yeah, and then the other wedding was really cool too because they got Mickey Mouse to come. So he did their like cake cutting, like he like joined in, and it was really cool. And then they took all of us to go see like a private showing of the fireworks.
Dude.
And it was so cool because they were like, "We want you to put your cameras down. Don't worry about taking pictures of us." And it was just so cool.
Wow. Just enjoy the experience. And,
yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was very like just so nice.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's so cool. Anything else that we're missing that you feel like I really wish people understood this about what I do and what I'm passionate about?
I think one of the things that kind of has like strayed me away from like family sessions is how much pressure there is for family sessions. And I feel like we all want that like perfect, everybody's looking at the camera, everybody's focused. But sometimes I feel like I can appreciate more. I don't know if other people do, but like just the candid moments, like really just soaking in like whatever moment, like not being ashamed. Like if your kids are like just not in it, like I get it. Like even as adults aren't in it sometimes, you know? So really just kind of like understanding from that perspective of like their kids, they're going to do what they want, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be super. We did super challenging for a photographer to be in that. We our kids have special needs, and so they're difficult to get them to sit still, and even more difficult to get them to look and smile. So a family photo is a difficult task, and so we just had it at our house, and we just had the photographer come, and I said, just shoot, and if you want to use AI to like face swap, we're fine with that. We don't care. Like, just do your thing and edit how you feel like you need to do to make the photos look great. And she did a phenomenal job. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I was really grateful that you said it's okay to do that. Because like I get any photo, like literally every photo she took, one kid was doing something. And
sometimes that's how it is for adults too, though. Like shooting weddings.
Go up here.
Oh my gosh. When they want to do like the 30-person photo, I'm like, stay still for a minute. I'm literally just going to hold the shutter down. Like, please look at me. That kind of brings me to, like, weddings and stuff, too. Like, really just for couples to, like, really just be in the moment. Really take it in. Like, we know it goes by so fast. You blink and it's gone. Or it's already, like, cocktail hour and you're like, how did this happen? But really just being present in the moment and not, like, catering to, like, the pressure of, like, entertaining people or like, oh, I have to have like these pictures because like the internet's telling me to do so or Pinterest told me to do so.
Yeah.
I think really just again like embracing your personalities and like if if you're walking down the aisle and like a dip kiss is not the thing, don't even attempt it.
You don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you to. I had a couple who like, they walked down the aisle and he like kissed her hand and it was really cute.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, we can work with whatever you want to work with, you know? It's not the internet.
Yeah.
Blessing and a curse.
Well, because everyone's competing. Everyone thinks that like, and it's all just, everybody's putting their best foot forward and it's not necessarily real.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like, the entertainment part is like a really big thing where they feel like they have to entertain. They have to have this and they have to have that, or people are going to be bored. And like, that's where your DJ comes in, you know? Like, you got to have a good playlist.
Yes. Yeah, you have to have good music.
Yeah.
There's this tradition, I'm sure you've done it. It's the photo dash. It's kind of newer. What are your thoughts on that, good and bad?
I love it, but I also, my thing is like,
do you get usable stuff out of that?
Yeah.
I'm always wondering
The
if that's
only like tip I have for that is normally like have the couple on the dance floor,
have them sit
and have everybody come to you.
Good. All the guests run. The
Yes,
guests are
that's
dashing,
what I kinda
not the couple.
suggest, only because it can be tricky if you're like around a round table, like
Yeah.
getting everybody in focus, making sure everybody's looking at you. Whereas like they're on the floor, they kind of like know that they're supposed to be looking at you and all that.
Yeah.
I love it because like you get pictures with everybody,
Mm.
and it's that nice portrait, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not. It can be nice.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are like, I know my heart rate goes up when they're like,
Yeah.
okay, time to
Surprise.
do this. I'm like, oh no.
Especially when it's a surprise. I prefer it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I always tell them
no.
to check with your photographer, make sure they're going to be there for that or they're down for that. Or, you know.
I always say, like, if they have like a videographer or a DJ, I'm like, tell them to, so we are all on the same page, because all of us are about to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And it's never one song.
No.
It's never.
I always
one
have to
song.
loop it. It's always funny.
But if people got like a few drinks in them, they'll never realize.
They don't care.
You know?
Yeah. The idea is let's get a lot of photos real quick with everybody. And what about like the group photo? Like everybody there.
I've had that quite a few times. It works out if it's like less than 100 people.
If it's more, that's probably not worth it. That's a lot of people to get in the lens.
Yeah.
And the
I feel like the essence behind it is really like sincere and genuine, but it's kind of a little difficult, especially like given if it's inside and you're like limited to so much space.
It's like a 10-foot ceiling. Yeah, it's like, how am I supposed to get?
Right. Well, I did one like a couple weeks ago, and luckily it worked out that it was like at the Grand. So we just did the staircase. It was 60 people or something like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
Really, really good group photo. They had like little like wands with ribbon on them. So like they were waving them around while they were kissing, and it turned out really good. But sometimes it doesn't turn out very good. That's another thing that I like when I sit down with my couples like a month or two before the wedding. I'm always in like constant contact with them because things change, you know, and then some people add the aesthetic things that they want to do. So I always sit down with them and I'm like, is there anything that is super important to you that you like want to put emphasis on that I don't miss? Because like I take pictures of everything, but if I don't know you have like a heart-shaped piece of fabric under your dress from your, you know, loved one's clothing, like I'm never gonna know. So I always sit down and I'm like, what's important to you? What are your priorities for the day? Is it couples portraits? Is it family photos? Is it bridesmaids, groomsmen? What is it? Or like candids? And I really just kind of like get everything down, because I feel like the more information I have, we're setting myself up for like success. So going in blindly is never, I cannot.
Not the preferred way to work.
No, I don't know how some people do it. I worked with somebody who, like a second shot, and they're like, there's no timeline. I'm like, what? This is like when I first started too. And I was like, how does your anxiety deal with? Do you not have anxiety? Okay. So that was like one thing that kind of like shaped me into like really working on like timelines with people and getting good at like estimating, okay, this is going to approximately take this much time, adding buffers in.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen. And yeah, then I get like the family shot list, because that is a must for me. Like if I don't have it, we're going to have some problems, because then you have like the family that you don't necessarily like not want to include, but aren't like a priority coming in and like, where's my photo? Where's my photo? And I'm like, we can just get that during the reception, like way lax, you know, but family photos, I'm always like, that's the one thing that's definitely going to be posed. I'll take candids of like people interacting and like family and like that, but like the nice portraits, because everybody wants those. And I don't want to miss anything, because I remember first starting out, bless this bride, she's like, hey, did you get a picture of me and my mom? I'm like, did I? And I went through it and I was like, no. Oh no. So that was like kind of like a life lesson for me. Like, just, it's better to start out and like include every single pairing and then be like, that's too much, and let them take it out, rather than like, oh, they probably don't want this, you know? So you're not setting yourself up for like,
it's hard to know what some people, they're like, oh, we have 1 million photos and they don't care. And some, it's hard to assume. But if they're not organized, they don't give you that shot list. It's like, how do you know that you have to kind of like, that's hard. You gotta be a mind reader, you know?
I am typically that person that like, if at the meeting they like can't come up with it, I'm like, it has to be done before the wedding. Like I have to have it. It's for your safety.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to miss anything. Again, it's like we have to think about how weddings are like one of the only times that everybody in that room is going to be together.
Yeah.
It sounds really sad, but I think that's just kind of like with my history of, you know, having people pass away, like that's like a huge thing for me that I don't take lightly. Like, I have a lot of people who have been in the past messaging me like, I just wanted to reach out again, that this is like so important to me that you got this picture of me and my grandpa, because this is the last picture we have together.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, I sit with that quite often because I think of like my dad taking those pictures of like me and my granny and my grandpa and grandma. And it's not something, I think that's something that a lot of people kind of need to realize is like, I don't know if it's just a me thing or whatnot, but like, we carry it emotionally. Like, it's really, really deep for us.
And you never really know when it's going to be the last time.
Yeah.
And the last photo. And I love seeing old photos of my dad that I've never seen before.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I'm like, so you guys had these? This is so cool.
Yeah. I know my dad will like bring out his old film and stuff of like when he was a kid and like his old dogs and his mom and dad, and just, it's so cool. Or even seeing like pictures that I never saw of me as a kid and being like, I remember when I got that bad haircut, or like, you know, stuff like that. Or I remember that Christmas present. I think it's easy for people to be like, we're just getting pictures taken, nice pictures. And like, I think unfortunately sometimes tragedy is like when you really grow to appreciate them, you know?
You really understand the value of something when it's gone.
Yeah.
One of the core elements of kind of of Amplified is that we like to collaborate with our couples on that creative process. You know, they're experts on their wedding and what they want, their preferences and their priorities, and they're typically experts on what their family and friends will enjoy music-wise.
Yeah.
But we're experts on how to put that all together, how to mix it, how to throw a great dance party. And so I like us to help our couples and help teach them that, given our experience, this is how you should do this, to give it the best possible thing. And we have kind of a recurring thing that comes up on this podcast called "It's Not Going to Go the Way You Think." People have a tradition they want to try, or, hey, we're going to do this. We want to go, you know, start the dance floor. Then we want to stop the dance floor and do the shoe game. And then we want to start the dance floor and, you know. Yeah. And so I'm like, it's better to just, once you have the dance floor going, just let it keep going. Yeah. And what I know about dancing and people is once you interrupt that, people, you might not get them back.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that when you're sitting with couples, either planning or even the initial stages where it's not going to go the way you think?
I think what really changed my perspective was when I was a bride. We did very non-traditional. We didn't have like a big wedding. We got married, and we got married at Gabus Arboretum.
Yeah.
Stunning during the fall. Oh my gosh. Oh. We only got married on that date because that was like a date I had available to get married and didn't have a wedding. And so we just had our closest friends, like 30 of us. And then we all went to dinner.
Wow.
And then a year later, we had like a backyard reception. And I think the biggest thing for me was kind of setting your expectations low. I know that sounds bad, but when you're setting them so high, and this is like kind of the person that I am sometimes, I set things up really high in my head and then like I'm let down.
Yeah.
I think sitting with yourself or with your partner and kind of being like, okay, like this is kind of our expectations and being realistic about it. Where, you know, the weather's uncontrollable. That's a huge thing. That's like, I think that's the thing that makes me the most anxious on wedding days. I'm not even going to lie. My first wedding this year was at the Barn and Vineyard in Beecher, and I love that venue. It's so beautiful. But it was like in April, like the end of April, and it rained. It was windy, and it was cold. It was like 40 degrees.
No.
And I love this bride. I just felt so bad because like her wedding party like did not want to be outside. They were done. And she was kind of done too. And I get that. But yeah,
Weather doesn't always cooperate with
it doesn't.
best laid plans, you know. You got a beautiful space. Everybody's dressed up beautifully.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not beautiful weather.
Yeah.
It's not going to go the way we thought.
Right. And then one of my weddings this year had a tornado warning or watch or whatever.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they're giving their speeches. They're giving their speeches and everybody's phone just starts going off and they're all like, we're going to die together.
End of the world
like,
party.
how romantic. Hey, that's a good spot to, you know.
Honestly, a good place to be if it is the end of the world.
Right.
You got food and drink and dance. And,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
weather, I think just, you could sit there and be like, here's the weather pattern for, I mean, if you're anxious like me, that's what I did. But really just kind of embracing your day as it happens. I mean, I feel like if you kind of get down about it, like you're going to look back on it years down the road and be like, oh, like it wasn't that great. Where like you could just kind of like not set your expectations low, but reality, you know, okay, well, if it rains, well, we'll just embrace it, you know, like if you want to go outside with an umbrella, let's go, you know, so just making the best out of it, you know, things happen. There's a lot of outside forces that we cannot control. So yeah, I think just be realistic.
I love that. And just embrace whatever, you know, you put in all the planning, you put in everything you could, you hired the best vendors, you talked with them, they're going to enact your plan, you know, and then it's time to just enjoy and just sit back and just try to immerse and savor and have a good time, celebrate, and enjoy whatever you can about it. Find a way to have fun. Yeah. Those are the best weddings, in my opinion. The ones that we're just going to have fun. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Nothing is ever perfect. And so, but we make it perfect through our enjoyment of it. Yeah.
It's all about perspective. You know,
that's awesome.
If little things go wrong, you still got married. You're still with the love of your life.
Surrounded by your loved ones.
You still have all these people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's really about. Is just being celebrated and being around those loved ones. That's all weddings are really about.
No, because you work in weddings and now you had your own wedding. Anything about planning and having your own wedding, things you're like, oh, I should have spent more money on this, or man, I'm really glad I saved here. Like, yeah, this was totally worth the money. That kind of thing.
Such a good point.
Things you would do differently now that you know you've been through the experience yourself.
Yeah. I have 2 points. One was we actually booked a venue. We were gonna have a big wedding. We just decided it wasn't for us. We're very like easygoing, and we are very like, I don't know, non-traditional. I don't know.
Practical, pragmatic. Yeah.
We really thought to ourselves, like with our ceremony, we want the people that matter there. Not that like other people don't matter. That sounds so bad, but like we wanted to prioritize like those. And we're not like the type that like to get up in front of a bunch of people. We will obviously with our professions and whatnot, but we just wanted to really focus on that. And then we had our little dinner afterwards, and my husband's grandpa and grandma got to come, and his grandpa's no longer with us. And yeah, it was just really special to be able to have like all those people in that room with us. And
Intimate
then
dinner versus there's 200 people versus there's 30 people.
Yeah. And then we're both very into music. He's in a band. I was in a band. And we wanted to just have like a fun backyard wedding. And we got it in my parents' backyard where I grew up, and it was cool. I got to get ready in the room I grew up in. And we had like a taco truck because we love this taco place. And then we had a band, and it was exactly what I wanted. I feel like it was exactly what I wanted as a kid. And we had the band, and we both jumped up and sang with them.
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
It was just so much fun. And that band is like a band that my band used to tour with. And we used to have backyard shows in my parents' house all the time. So,
dude.
Personality. Just like bringing in what brings you happiness.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, so when we decided we were going to do just the ceremony, I knew like the photographer I wanted to hire because she was my friend. And then I was like, do we get video? And then we kind of sat down and we're like, okay, yeah, we're going to do video. And this was before like my husband got into video and whatnot. And we only had like, I think 2 hours of coverage for both. But the impact that the video made on me, like I have a lot of couples when they are in the process of thinking about videography, they're like, am I actually like going to look back on it? And if you're sentimental like me, you're going to look back on it all the time. I do, because bless my videographer, Adam. He did like private interviews with my parents and his parents and didn't tell us. And this lives rent free in my head all the time. Like I don't even need to watch the video, but my dad, like he got him talking about how I finally got like my Princess Diaries moment with the foot pop and like, oh my God. That was just really special. Wow. So
and that was a total surprise when you got the video.
Oh, I had no idea. We had no idea. And then he interviewed his parents, like saying how much they love us and how proud they are. And I think that's really special. And the fact that like we didn't know it happened was even like crazy. I lost it when I watched it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I think really videography is just like such a different aspect than photo. Like people are like, oh, well, we're getting photos, it's good enough. Well, how cool is it that you can like have your loved ones like voice and like movement and like
their own personality on film, just them being themselves.
Yeah, I think that is just so big, and it tells your story. Like I feel like it's way easier to tell your story through video, because like again, there's moments we're getting that like you don't even know are happening. Yeah,
I love that. And the cool thing about that kind of thing too is you have that for life, and you have that beyond your lives. If you guys have kids or adopt or whatever, like they can watch it too. Like other people can see that in the future, and it gives the value increases over time. It's really cool to to look back and see. My dad married us and we have video. He passed in 2016. But like I have that for life. I showed it at his memorial. So then people could see my dad in his element at his son's wedding, just talking about how proud, it was so cool. Like I have that forever. And I'm so glad I had a friend just record it, like.
Well, I mean, for our reception, I like kicked myself because we didn't get a videographer. And my dad gave this beautiful speech. It was so beautiful, just talking about like how proud he was of me. And luckily I have it in my memory, but I remember him telling me about how proud he was because he sees like my granny in me because she loved photography too. And like I never knew that. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have had that because that would have been so special. So I think videography is like just as important as photo, really. It's just a different aspect that you get.
Different way to capture the memories.
Yeah. I remember watching my parents' wedding video and like being like, oh my gosh, what was this recorded on? But now that's coming back, film and Super 8 and
a lot of people are doing that.
That's kind of cool too to see like just the market completely shifting and
old tech is coming back and people buying cassettes again and vinyl.
I think it's so cool. I mean, I started picking up film kind of because like my dad's love of film and whatnot. And I got my first rolls of film developed yesterday, and one of them is a 1950s Brownie camera that my grandma had.
Wow.
And that was super sentimental. It wasn't even like crazy pictures. It was just like, I think you get 8 because it's like a 120 film. And it was just like random pictures from my sessions that I had, and then like a picture of my dog. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, just sentimental. So, and then I've been working side by side with like a friend of mine that is starting to do like Super 8. And like, that's just so cool to me.
Cool.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's very authentic. Like, I feel like it's easy to kind of manipulate and edit with AI now that like digital, I don't know. Film has like a feel to it. Like, it's very nostalgic and like very authentic, I feel. And
you can't adjust the light in post. It was the light we had with the
yeah. I mean, I love digital, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I like that there's, offers for film and Super 8 now. It's really cool.
That's awesome. If there are couples who would love to work with you or love to have the kind of experience that you've kind of been talking about, what's the best way that they can reach out and contact you?
So I feel like a lot of people either go to like my Instagram and from there they find my website, or my website. Instagram's been like a huge blessing for me. A lot of people who I don't even know from all over the country have like reached out, and yeah, I feel like Instagram's just like a huge blessing.
Nice. What is your Instagram handle for the people listening?
So it's Meg Pearson Photo.
Meg Pearson Photo.
And then it's megpearsonphoto.com.
Oh, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on, and please come back and see us again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, this has been the DJ Insider Podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Meg.
And we will see you at your wedding. Thanks.